Hello and welcome to HBM's Crypto Corner for Wednesday, November 20th, 2024. We have quite a few things to talk about, so let's get started. First thing, Bigfoot footprints found in Bossburg, which is misspelled here. It should be Bossburg, Washington. Renee Dahinden's discovery, not Dinden. If you're a Bigfoot enthusiast, you're in for a treat. A video has surfaced on YouTube showcasing Renee Dahinden revisiting the Bossburg site where the infamous Cripplefoot tracks were discovered in 1969. The video, posted by the Sasquatch Archives, offers a fascinating look at the history of this controversial case. Renee Dahinden, a well-known Bigfoot researcher, takes us on a journey back to Bossburg, Washington, where he recounts his experiences from 1969. He discusses the discovery of the footprints, which were found near a baited area, and shares his thoughts on the authenticity of these tracks. The video also features Ivan Marks, another researcher who has been both praised and criticized for his work in the field. Marks was involved in the investigation of the Bossburg tracks, and his account of the events is shared in the video. Well, the thing is, Marks was a hoaxer and may have been involved in hoaxing these footprints. I think Dahinden may have been a bit skeptical of them. I'm not sure that Dahinden really accepted them at face value, to be quite honest. But I have not watched the video, so I'll have to check the video out and see what he actually says about them. But it's really terrific to see a rare glimpse into a late researcher such as Dahinden. This is from the Sasquatch Archives channel, from Todd Prescott's channel, so good stuff. Here's something interesting. Watch. Mystery creature filmed near Yellowstone may be rare Wolverine sighting. Blurry video near Yellowstone may be extremely rare Wolverine sighting. Let's check it out.
A West Yellowstone, Montana man said his dashboard camera captured an extremely rare sight early Tuesday, a wolverine barreling across a snowy highway. Even though the video is blurry and poor quality when zoomed in, a wildlife biologist who viewed it told Outdoors reporter Mark Hines that it's probably legitimate footage of one of only a few wolverines known to exist in and near Yellowstone National Park.
A wildlife photographer I've spoken with a few times before was driving his wife to work, and on their dash cam they caught an image of a critter speeding across the highway, and he says he thinks it's a wolverine, and he ran it past a biologist who's actually worked with wolverines in Alaska, and I talked to her as well, and she said, yep, that's probably a wolverine. I mean, the footage, it's distant and blurry, so it's tough to tell, but they're both saying just by the way the animal moves low to the ground, kind of loping sideways, really as it did give way for wolverine.
Wolverines are mostly solitary creatures. Each one claims a huge territory, and they like to travel. Population studies conducted by the Wyoming Game and Fish Department indicate that Wyoming overall might have a grand total of about 15 wolverines.
Now that's interesting. And it's blurry, much like Sasquatch are supposed to be. But was it a wolverine? I mean, Or was it something else? Who knows? But most likely it was a wolverine. It's interesting to have a rare creature like that out in the area near Yellowstone. And as was mentioned, there's not that many of them near Yellowstone or in the Yellowstone area. So they're definitely rare, apparently. Interesting. The legendary Bigfoot was just reported seen in South Carolina. Here's where and what happened. Claims of Bigfoot sightings are heard all over the U.S., but few know the origins of the legend. Here's how a story in Northern California spread across the country.
The legendary Bigfoot was just reported seen in SC. Here's where and what happened. Was the legendary creature, usually referred to as Bigfoot, stomping around South Carolina recently? And was he in the area to support the University of South Carolina football team in its big game against Texas A&M? According to a new report, the urban legend, also called a Sasquatch, was seen on November 2nd, just 25 miles northwest of Columbia, the same day as USC's 44-20 home game win over Texas A&M. The report makes no mention of Bigfoot wearing any Gamecocks apparel, however. Whether he is a fan or was just out in the area for a stroll will be for the experts to decide. In any case, a witness referred to as JM and who identified himself as a police officer, reported the sighting on November 6 to the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization. Founded in 1995, the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization is now the oldest and largest organization of its kind, the organization's website states. It uses volunteers to conclude that a report is credible, noting that none of the modern reports in the BFRO's online database are made public without some kind of investigation. In this latest incident, BFRO founder Matthew Moneymaker performed a follow-up investigation and found the report credible. Moneymaker was also a co-host of the show Finding Bigfoot on the Animal Planet channel from 2010 to 2017. SC Bigfoot Report. The report states that the sighting happened in Newbury County on the witness family hunting property. The witness wrote that he was deer hunting in Newbury and was sitting in a ground blind when he heard a loud, deep-toned grunt and a stomp at the same time. Turned around to look and saw an approximately 7 to 7.5 foot tall brown human-like shape through all the brush, the report states. Had long brown hair, ape-like face, and long arms. The witness notes that he and the creature watched each other for probably 30 seconds before it walked off. I'm a police officer and had no clue what to make of it. At this point, as much as I didn't want to admit it, I am convinced it was a Bigfoot, the witness wrote. Follow-up investigation. In his follow-up investigation, Moneymaker wrote that he confirmed the witness was a police officer who serves on the west side of South Carolina and is very credible. Moneymaker noted that the area of the sighting is full of deer and located along a power line route that is only half a mile from a decommissioned railroad bed that's now the Palmetto Trail hike and bike route. Other SC Bigfoot sightings. This is hardly the first time sightings of Bigfoot have been reported in South Carolina. The Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization has a listing of 57 reported Bigfoot sightings in the Palmetto State that date as far back as 1964. Below is a list of number of Bigfoot sightings in South Carolina, broken down by county. All SC counties with Bigfoot sightings. Allendale, 1. Anderson, 1. Barnwell, 1. Beaufort, 2. Berkeley, 4. Charleston, 1. Cherokee, 2. Chesterfield, 1. Colleton, 3. Darlington, 2. Dorchester, 1. Fairfield, 1. Greenville, 1. Hampton, 1. Ari, 3. Kershaw, 2. Lancaster, 1. Lawrence, 1. Lee, 8. Newbury, 2. Oconee, 4. Orangeburg, 4. Pickens, 1. Richland, 1. Spartanburg, 2. Sumter, 2. Union, 1. Williamsburg, 1. York, 2. This story was originally published November 13, 2024, 6 a.m.
Thanks for listening. Here is something else you might like.
So, now we have a report from the Palmetto State. A report from a police officer who does not wish to be identified, and I don't blame I don't blame him. I don't blame him because he's a cop and he doesn't want to jeopardize his job. He doesn't want to jeopardize perhaps his pension, maybe a promotion or two, things of that nature. So he stays anonymous. Nothing wrong with that. Is this report credible? It could very well be. But hey, Moneymaker's been wrong in the past. He's been fooled in the past. Not to say that he was fooled in this case. But let's just say that Moneymaker does not have a good reputation of, let's say, being able to judge whether things are on the up and up or not. But a very fascinating case nonetheless, if indeed it is credible, which it could very well be, if it's a cop especially. Either way, quite fascinating. Modern problems with scientific naming. Example, Bigfoot. This is by Sharon A. Hill. Now, she's more skeptical than most researchers are. There's nothing wrong with being skeptical, but there is something wrong with being cynical. An article advanced published on 14th of November 2024 in the Journal of Mammalogy calls out the problem with poor naming practices as a proposed new species in our internet age. One of the most famous examples of poor practice was that of Melba Ketchum et al., who not only did a terrible job analyzing DNA from quote-unquote Bigfoot, but also used a pop-up journal to give Bigfoot another useless name. When you don't have an actual Bigfoot. There is a problem with not having a holotype specimen when we now have photographic, video, and DNA evidence instead of a collected sample. While it's not prohibited, things can get messy if you only have a photo or a video to document the find. The example given of an absurd situation is that of Bigfoot/Sasquatch. I don't think the paper's authors were aware of, or maybe they chose not to go down that hole, of the many instances of people proposing names for Bigfoot and other cryptids on a whim and thinking those names would be valid. This happened before that of the infamous Melba Ketchum and her Bigfoot DNA/Sasquatch genome debacle. But Ketchum was name-checked in this article because out of all the rules she didn't follow, she did register Homo sapiens cognatus with the Zoobank, the official registry of the ICZN. The name is a nomen nudum because it was missing every other requirement, including a description. Not mentioned in the article is the fact that the de novo journal that she created herself to publish this one paper, after failing to get it into Nature because the science was so bad, has now disappeared from the internet. It no longer exists. A second example related to Bigfoot is that of the Patterson-Gimlin film, which is the visual of this creature that everyone recognizes, seemingly from childhood. If a name was given to the creature based on this film, and it turned out that it was a man in horsehide suit as suspected, the name would apply possibly either to the man or the horsehide as a holotype. That spirals even further into nomenclature chaos, but you can read the article if you want to hear what would happen regarding synonyms. Well, the thing is, we're talking about horsehide. That's only based on the testimony of Bob Hieronymus, who originally claimed that the quote-unquote suit was made out of horsehide. And then he switched over to what Philip Morris said about it being made out of Dynel. So that's a little bit in error, Miss Hill. I'm sorry, but that's a little bit in error. It was not, if it was a suit, it wasn't horsehide. That was based on the testimony of Bob Hieronymus, who changed his story after realizing that, oh crap, the horsehide argument won't work. Apparently the tactic was tried before, though. In 2017, an alternative healer, Dr. Eric Hunter, described and named the animal based on the 1967 film. He self-published a document on CreateSpace calling the creature Cryptopithecus gimlin pattersoniorum. Hunter, 2017. The document, Cryptopithecus gimlin pattersoni, a new species of bipedal primate, Primates hominidae, from Humboldt County, California, USA. Well, first of all, it was Del Norte County, not Humboldt County, where this occurred. But apparently he could not follow the rules either. The original species name was Gimlin pattersoni, which appeared on the cover and in the released print/Kindle copy. That is incorrect Latinization, and there is no legitimate way to fix it. Sloppy Latin was just one of the problems in this Bigfoot naming ceremony. And he apparently also registered the name in Zoobank. That makes no difference. The code or the registration of the name includes no judgment on the validity of the species description or characterization. Until a part of a body is found and clearly documented by a professional who knows what they are doing, Bigfoot remains hypothetical. And that's true. I agree. It does remain hypothetical. I completely agree with Ms. Hill on that. We don't have the final proof that they are actually Bigfoot out there. We have lots of tantalizing evidence, but we don't have the proof, obviously. So that I agree about. That I agree on, Ms. Hill. Anyway, interesting article. And here is a reprint from an 11-year-old article, The Ketchum Project, What to Believe About Bigfoot DNA Science, 2013. This is an article I wrote for Skeptical Briefs in 2013, one of the few chronologies detailing what happened between 2008 and the publication of a very odd and unorthodox paper by Melba Ketchum et al. Proposing a scientific name for Bigfoot Sasquatch. The formatting on the current Skeptical Briefs page was not corrected during the website update many years ago. I decided to reprint it here with the exact text in case the entry is removed from the web. And by the way, I want to apologize for constantly clearing my throat. I don't know why. I have a bit of a frog in my throat. I'm not going to read the article. I'll just link the article below, let y'all take a look at it. But it basically goes through what Melba Ketchum did wrong. And there was a lot that she did wrong, in my opinion. Anyway, you guys can read the article for yourselves and make up your own minds whether you think she did something wrong or whether she did something right. I know she's got a lot of followers, that much I do know. For some strange reason, Melba Ketchum has her followers. I don't understand why. Anyhow, y'all can check out the article for yourselves. Like I say, I'll link to it below. Finally, here is a photograph of an upcoming book which will be released in January of this next year. Bigfoot at Bluff Creek, a pictorial discussion by Daniel Perez. This is kind of a follow-up to his 1992 booklet, which was also titled Bigfoot at Bluff Creek. But this one will have color photographs in it. It'll also have what Perez is promising is a sample of soil from the film site itself. And that'll be available only to the first 952 individuals who order the book. But I think you have to be a member of his newsletter to be able to do that, to be able to order the book with the soil samples, the first 952. So, but it looks like it's going to be a really good book about the Patterson-Gimlin film. So I would definitely recommend everybody check it out and see about purchasing it themselves. And that's going to do it for this week. We want to thank you very much for tuning in. You guys are the heart of the show. I always say that, but I always mean it. And I will continue to do this as long as you guys want me to. And hey, until next week, y'all be good or be good at it. Oh, by the way, speaking of next week, my show is going to be on Tuesday next week. It's going to be a little bit early. A little bit early before Thanksgiving. So it's going to be on Tuesday instead of Wednesday of next week, which will be the 26th, not the 27th. So that'll be a little bit of an early present for you guys. So again, until then, y'all be good or be good at this HBM's Crypto Corner.